Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. And we have a big full moon coming up, a lot of karmic energy, a lot of letting go and purging in order to go towards the north node of karma in Taurus, which is about finding value, finding beauty and creativity and happiness in a very bumpy and disruptive time. And Uranus met up with the north node of karma on July 31st at 18 degrees of the fixed earth sign of Taurus. And Uranus will retrograde on August 24th at 18 degrees and 55 minutes of Taurus. And we're going to feel the buildup 5 days before and 5 days after. And that really emphasizes the unpredictability, the chaos, the brilliance, and the unexpected adventures that Uranus can bring. But it also can definitely raise your anxiety and make you feel really stressed out. And Mars met up with Uranus and with the north node of karma on August 1st, and that brought a very unusual pairing because Uranus takes 84 years to transit, and it met up with the north node of destiny, and it hadn't met up with the nodes of fate in the Taurus Scorpio axis since January of 1939 when it was exact. And so this is a big deal. Now we're still dealing very much with the nodes of fate traveling with Uranus and the north node going towards what you value. Venus rules the sign of Taurus. It's very creative, very beautiful, very sensuous placement of the north node and seeking, beauty in different venues of life, but also about adding value to your life in whatever you're doing and having purpose in your life. And with Uranus, it might break a lot of things that you once valued. You might be really eliminating certain things in a very abrupt way, or maybe just seeing things in a whole other way. And that's on the collective. Whether or not 18 degrees of Taurus impacts a personal planet or a personal point in your chart, you're feeling it somewhere, and the north node of destiny is all of us. It's the collective destiny and collective future, and that energy is still resonating in a huge way. And the sun squares Uranus later this week, and we're definitely feeling that energy because you feel Uranus before it's exact, and it can definitely raise your anxiety. It can give you flashes of the future. It can bring things out of the blue, and it can bring immediate fixed change, especially when it's in Taurus. And Saturn is currently in Aquarius, which is ruled by the planet Uranus. And so there is so much happening, and I feel very charged up in saying it. And I have been the last few weeks, having coffee earlier in the day where I cut it off because I do not want to. I don't need that extra charge. I really feel it, and I'm sure a lot of you feel it, where you kind of just feel a lot of adrenaline, or just feel it's hard to focus, but a lot happening, or your mind could be racing in many different directions. Mercury, which rules communication, is currently transiting in the mutable earth sign of Virgo, where it loves to be. It's in its domicile, but it also is, where your mind can really be very analytical. It's excellent for all sorts of transactions and business and commerce and sales and negotiations, communication of all forms. But again, Virgo is such an analytical sign, so your mind can definitely go in different ways of analyzing it, and then the Uranus energy really charges it up. And this week, so today, Venus, the planet of love and value, and the ruler of the sign of Taurus, where the north node is transiting, where it met up with Uranus, the planet of surprise and enlightenment and chaos, and Mars, the planet of action. All of them are transiting in Taurus currently, and they had that really unusual pairing on July 31st and August 1st. And so Venus opposing Pluto, this occurred at 1:18 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time today on August 9th. And for some, that could be letting go of something, that could be an ending, but it's also purging something in order to create something lovely and beautiful. It's not all negative. It could be actually a positive turning point of empowering yourself and realizing how you have to do that. What are the practical ways with Pluto in Capricorn, which is such a driven and practical and pragmatic sign. And we're building up to the full moon in Aquarius, which is going to be the last full moon in Aquarius while Saturn's transiting in Aquarius, because Saturn is going to enter Pisces next March on March 7th, and it's an annual full moon in Aquarius every August. So there's a full moon occurring on August 11th, and a lot happening leading up to that. So Uranus is still conjunct the north node of karma, and again, it can raise your sense of awareness, like hyper awareness, and anxiety, but it also is very innovative energy, and it definitely can bring opportunities out of the blue, because the north node of destiny can bring very fated opportunities. So there can be very exciting things happening and brewing with this energy, very just where you couldn't even have believed this would have happened. So that is a good thing. And pardon me, so the sun squares Uranus on Wednesday the 11th, on the day of the full moon, and that occurs at 8:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that we're feeling as we build up to that energy and to that, to when it's exact, because again, you feel Uranus before. It can make you feel a little more anxious and nervous, but thinking really on your feet, really coming up with ideas and really getting a lot done with Mercury in Virgo. So good for getting business done. And then on that date, Venus enters the fixed fire sign of Leo at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will remain until September 5th. And that is a really fun and creative and romantic placement for Venus. So that's a lot for, we need a little fun right now. And again, Venus rules the north node of karma, and this is happening on the day of the full moon. And Mars, the planet of action and drive, is still transiting in the fixed Earth sign of Taurus, and it, it forms a helpful aspect to Neptune at 5:44 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that is helping to bring inspired action or creative solutions to things you're trying to solve. And then there is a full moon that occurs at 9:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 19 degrees and 21 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And this full moon is conjunct Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of karma. It's the planet of authority. It's the planet of restrictions and limitation. How can you work and build something within restrictions? It is the ruler of Aquarius in ancient astrology. So it is technically in its domicile. It is squaring the nodes of fate, and that brings karmic decisions and turning points. Can be challenging, can be really good for your destiny, but you have to work for it and towards it. And it is conjunct the moon in Aquarius. So again, also, I think for each of us, figuring out how can we be constructive in the new age of Aquarius that continues until March 7th of 2023, and then it's going to change signs and leave Aquarius. And Saturn has been transiting. It got to 19 degrees of Aquarius in early March of this year, and it's currently retrograde, and it's at 22 degrees of Aquarius. Later in the year, it will exceed 19 degrees of Aquarius, and it's going to be moving forward in early December. So reframing or figuring out what you have been working on since the spring or late winter, really, early spring of this year, and how can you anchor the ingenuity and the fast forward moving change in a time that is very disruptive and chaotic, but also very progressive and very futuristic. And this full moon is about releasing blocks. Aquarius is a sign of freedom, yet Saturn is limitations. It's restricting the freedom, figuring out how to get your needs met in a sense that what choices do you need to make? How do you build community or align and connect with others in a way that's advantageous to your goals? And with Uranus and the North Node of Karma, breaking free from things that are keeping you from your destiny or from something you do love, and feeling courageous. Jupiter is in Aries. It's still in Aries. It's retrograde, but it's there. Having courage to go forward and go for what you want. And this is really, the North Node in Taurus. And, maybe, again, it's things you never thought you would do, or it's breaking free the restrictions, the Saturnian energy, going more towards the modern ruler. If you think of it, Saturn and Uranus are both the rulers of Aquarius. And Saturn is conjunct the full moon in Aquarius. And Uranus, which is the modern ruler of Aquarius, is conjunct the North Node of Karma and still conjunct Mars. So it's very illuminating, chaotic, disruptive energy. For some, there could be painful decisions with Pluto opposing Venus today and that energy beginning the week. And yet Venus is still forming a very good aspect to Neptune, the planet of dreams and imagination and empathy. And that, on the day of the full moon, Venus enters Leo at 2:30 p.m., but it's still trining Neptune out of sign. Neptune is in Pisces. They are only 6 degrees apart, so that energy about focusing on dreams and what you value to go towards the North Node and grow something beautiful in your life. I wish you a lot of luck and thank you.